Hi, I'm Lynn Much, owner of Noodle Horse Media. Today I'm going to be taking you through my findings from the last 12 months working on a fantastic project along with Pulsar NI to try and use TikTok as a way to connect with young people interested in learning about STEM careers. Okay, so let's get started. So the project objectives were to use TikTok to encourage young people into STEM careers with local businesses, especially focusing on girls. They can't really imagine themselves doing STEM jobs if they don't see that they exist. So my job was to go and find the best businesses in Northern Ireland and the coolest events happening and go and showcase it. So the things that we're going to be looking at were events, what's happening in Northern Ireland relating to STEM, connecting with businesses in Northern Ireland who want to show their commitment to supporting the future of STEM employment, doing some at-home experiments. Spoiler alert, some of these were sketchy and very messy in my kitchen, and empowerment. So providing support during exam time, lifting up the spirits of those to show that they can actually achieve really good educations and career in STEM. And yeah, the focus were for children aged 13 to 18. So some of the experiments I did, they could have been useful for really young kids, but also I think there was a lot of joy in them and they could be appreciated by people of all different ages. So, taking a look at the channel overview in the year, the key moments that occurred were that over 500,000 people liked our videos. Our most watched video on the channel got 2.3 million plays, something I was really proud of. And I visited some incredible STEM events, mostly thanks to the Northern Ireland Science Festival. I'll get on to that in a minute. So what has worked well? Definitely getting out there, away from my house, and getting into things that were happening in Northern Ireland within the STEM industry. I just learned so many different things and met so many new connections that are all doing really wonderful things right now. So let's talk a bit about that. Also, talking about things that were working well on TikTok. If you're thinking of going into using this app for your business, have a look at what can be repeatable content. Okay, so if something works once, my advice would be to try and repeat it again and again. I had a lot of success with my series of videos on Sierpinski's triangle. If you don't know what that is, get to know it over on the Pulsar NI TikTok. From doing that first video, it started to really get a lot of attention in the first 24 hours because it was a series. So on episode one, I drew 40 dots on a page. You can kind of see over on the right hand side there. I had an A3 page taped to my wall, and I was just drawing this triangle made up of loads of dots. And I used a trending sign that was trending because of Stranger Things, it was really popular at that point. And I just kept doing the same pattern again and again, both literally on the triangle, but also in the makeup of the video. So I used the same audio, and I kind of captured the same cuts with, I would do a piece to camera. So I'd be like day two or day three. And then I would show a side shot where I was drawing like a time lapse of all these dots. And then I would do a count at the end of how many dots I'd drawn that day. So from doing that, it made it into a series that people then started to get really invested in. But here's the caveat with that. Okay. So if you want to be known for just Sierpinski triangles, that would have been fine. I would have kept going and doing that with the triangle, and just that would have been my bit. But I knew from my content pillars that that's not all I wanted to be known for. So the channel was about educating and showing STEM opportunities within Northern Ireland. So I knew I had to deviate away from just that topic, but find other things that could be repeatable again. So in the middle, I've got an idea of some things that I did that could be really interactive with things. So instead of just showing the viewers what you're doing, it's asking them questions. So at the Ulster University, I went and showed some skulls and got people to ask got people to guess which skulls they were. Body parts in the biomedical lab at Queen's University, that was part of the Northern Ireland Science Festival. Objects under the microscope at the museum, all different things that people could guess. All right, so let's have a look. Important lessons learned during this project. People don't care about you or your brand just as long as they're getting value. So you could be a massive brand and you could still really struggle on TikTok. Take inspiration from successful creators and formats. Also, with the integration of CapCut templates, this can be easier now. There's a lot of trending templates that are out there, and you can fit your content that you've already filmed into that using the CapCut templates, and it can be made really simply. I was researching for this project about 5 to 8 hours a week for viral content ideas, searching for keywords that were related to the niche, and then filter the most liked over the past 7 days or 30 days. And it can throw up a lot of different search terms and what people are genuinely interested in. This was really good for up and coming news that was happening with regards to space, NASA flight launches, things like that. No one cares about your low views. Don't ruminate on it. Just post different ideas and styles and see what sticks. So I'm going to talk you through some ideas that use the features that come within TikTok. So there's the duet feature, and this allows users to create a split screen alongside another user's video. So for instance, this one was perfect. It was about the Fibonacci sequence that was on the first of at the start of the year. This year was a Fibonacci sequence, and this very talented person was explaining a lot about maths. They do some amazing work, and it was great to then show kind of my reaction to what they were saying, and then lay out the date as I saw it. I was like, oh right, okay, amazing. So that's one feature. The duet feature is really good to use within your business. There's the stitch feature, which means you take the first 5 seconds of a video and then your video comes after it. So it's a bit like the duet feature, except you're reacting to the full video afterwards. Again, a really useful tool. And then thirdly, I've mentioned them already, the CapCut template feature. So you can hop on trends really quickly and use these easy to make templates. So next up, let's take a look at some of the places that I visited during the last 12 months that have been so crucial to the success of the channel. First up is Circ Bangor Southeastern Regional College. They welcomed me with majorly open arms. Anya is the head of the engineering department there, and she got on board straight away. She knew that the TikTok project was going to have the vision it had was so important to the values she aligns with as well. And so I was allowed to come in and play with the CNC milling machine. We made a bottle opener, which was then designed with the Sierpinski triangle in it, because she knew that I was all passionate about that. She invited me along to the Girls in Engineering Day, which was loads of different design challenges, young girls that were 4 to 12 years old that were getting into all things engineering, and they could be really creative. That was such a fun day. And also invited me to be a judge at the Environment Enterprise Entrepreneurship Day, right? So let me break down what this is, okay? Circ, at the start of each school year, academic year, they don't do any teaching for the first couple of weeks. Instead, what they do, right, this is brilliant. They split their classes into teams, and then within your team, you have to then plan and promote this project that is going to be shown at this entrepreneurship day. And then these judges come along and have a look. You kind of pitch to them, and seeing it on the picture on the far right there, you can see the hall was just full of all these different teams. They had to work together, learn new skills, and pitch their ideas. It gave them loads of confidence. I'd never seen anything like that before, but I was all for it. I would have loved that when I was that age. I just think it's what a really cool way to start the academic year, just out of your comfort zone, but learning new skills. Very, very cool. Definitely. So here were some of my learnings from creating content at events. Avoid capturing kids' faces. If you're making TikToks, you can instead focus on busy hands, wide shots of the event hall, filming the backs of heads, and focusing on the staff members more. For me, I was always keen to get involved. I've got some videos of this coming up soon. If there's an interactive element, always have a go. It just creates much more of a buzz if you can get yourself on camera. Again, don't ruminate on being self-conscious. There's no time for that when you're creating content. You just need to get out there and give it your best shot. Uh, and trending sounds. Research trending sounds before you go, because if you have an idea of a sound that just keeps coming up on your For You page on TikTok, it'll inevitably spark some curiosity. So at the time, the Taylor Swift song, It's Me, Hi, I'm the Problem, It's Me audio was pairing perfectly with me being absolutely useless at doing some of the experiments at the Girls in STEM Day that day. I have an example of it soon. All right, next up, I recently was filming in Northern Regional College in Newton Abbey in their animal management course, and they couldn't have been nicer as well. I arrived and the team had been briefed and they were ready to just listen to kind of what I had idea was, and then I asked them a bunch of questions, and then from there we collaboratively worked together. And we created a bunch of content. The students there were so up for it. Also, the amazing thing was that Michael, who had kind of made the link with me first and foremost, he then contacted me afterwards, and I said, here, there's a lot of content that I didn't get time to create into TikToks that because the project had finished. But by all means, here's a link to a Dropbox full of it. And they were able to then go and take all those videos and make it for their own TikTok channel, which I was so pleased with, because that was it. I wanted to go in there and show them the possibility that they can also be making this content to then show people on who are maybe going to be watching their channels that this is what the courses look like. These are the kind of things that we can do on the courses, and I think that's something that I see a gap for in the market, potentially educating the educators, so teaching them how they can create content about their courses that they could then go towards making. It doesn't have to be these really finessed corporate videos. You can make a lot of content with really short form snippets, off the cuff, just having a little bit of fun. So on the day we did quizzes where I was trying to guess what horse brushes were used for what part, and I was rubbish at it, such a tiny, but the team there were spot on, such nice people. I love that. Next up, I visited Denman in Bangor, and that was great for me, very local. Also, the fact that these guys are very hot on TikTok, and they also get what it is to be showing up on social media. So, Shannon took me on a tour, and we got to look at like really repetitive manufacturing processes, which are perfect. People love that nature of video on TikTok as well, just a manufacturing process. You can just film it with the raw noises. It always does really well. So that works so good. Next up, a big one, Northern Ireland Science Festival. Oh my goodness. The team at the Science Festival couldn't have been more accommodating. They just give me an access all areas pass. I give them an idea of some places that I wanted to go and see. And from there, sky was the limit. I was able to just go about and be like, "Oh hi, I'm here to create TikToks," and I just had such a good time. There was such a breadth of projects, and I really hope next year for their 10-year anniversary, they're just super successful, because this year was amazing, and it's the first time I had gone to any of their events, and I will definitely be back again next year. One of the things I did from that was simply at home taking the beautiful festival booklet on the far right there, you can see it, and just reading through some of the I would make one TikTok about like one of the events that were happening, read through it from the book, and then give a response to it. So that's a really simple way of creating content without, a lot of budget. You can just read through it. Somebody else has already done the work to make a beautifully printed event overview, and you can just read it and react to it. And then the rest of the time, oh my goodness, I had some great occasions out there. I love the arts and crafts at the Queen's Biomedical Lab. Amazing. Blacksmithing at Patterson's Spade Mill. I talk about that in a bit. That was like the best. And an evening with Dame Jocelyn Bell Burnell. That was such an interesting night. Definitely so many different events. Great stuff and perfect TikTok content. So opportunities for improvement, gaps, issues, and trends to watch out for. My takeaway is that successful content can come from the most unlikely places. But the Sierpinski Triangle content, I would never have thought that that would have been getting us millions of views on each of the videos. But as I said, the success comes with a caveat. People only wanted to see the triangle videos, and views significantly dropped for other content. So rather focusing on solely on the vanity metrics, I ensured that the original content pillars were still the main aim for me. But yeah, everything is content, and there should be an opportunity from each event attended to create more than one piece of content. That's big. That's a big thing. Okay. So just because you go and you think, right, I'm going to do this interview, it might not be the whole interview that is what you put up. You might put that up one day, but a few weeks later, you can also put up snippets from the interview that work with the trending audio, or perhaps the amount of times that you've said like the same thing. Say it was about space or whatever, and it's the amount of times that space is said, and you could nip those all into one video and just see what works. It's about experimenting and trying. Um, Opportunities for improvement continued. Cross post your content. So, downloading the TikToks without their watermark and posting in places where the decision makers are present is crucial. So, for me, whenever I shared content onto LinkedIn and Twitter, it actually helped me get more leads to go and visit new businesses. So, not all businesses are on TikTok presently, but a lot of the decision makers are on LinkedIn. So I definitely found a lot of success there, providing social proof from TikTok, and then I could go from there. Major advice. TikTok doesn't work if you're crippled by red tape and approval systems. So, in the last week of this project, I was lucky enough to get in with one of my former employers, Thales in Belfast, who are doing amazing stuff with space, the space industry at the minute. Really exciting stuff. It was so cool to come back into my old work and see what they were up to. Unfortunately, though, it was just such a tight time scale. So I think I went in on the Thursday, and I had a little first. So I usually just went and created and then uploaded them, and I didn't need to seek permission from the people who were doing the tour or whatever. But on this occasion, I did have to get approval of the video. So it got lost within HR, and then I never got the approval for it, so it's just languishing in my drafts folder, and the channel has finished now. And it was a really simple video, but it showed really cool stuff as well. So it's just one of those things. If you think that your business might have like a really strict brand guideline and things like that, TikTok might not necessarily be for you just yet. I think the essence of why this project worked was because I didn't have an approval chain, and I could just make some content. If I'd had to have come to people to say, oh, can you approve? I've had this idea for a video. I'm going to take a song by Blondie from the 80s that is going to relate to the Hubble telescope. It's just out of context, it sounds mad. And to be honest, for most of it, like a lot of the ideas were mad, but they also worked. And that's TikTok for you. It has to be off the moment, and there's really not a lot of time for approval. So yeah, that's my 2 cents on that. what works well, the organizations that get it, get it. So Liberty IT started appearing on my For You page on TikTok, which is your homepage that's bespoke to you. So the more you interact with certain things, like for me, it was STEM content, the more different content comes up on your page. So I saw, oh, right, okay, a Belfast tech company, amazing, and they're on TikTok. So I slid into their DMs, and Johnny and I struck up this little working relationship. And the next thing you know, I am coming up to their headquarters in Belfast for a couple of hours to make content. In that time, we produced 4 TikToks, interviewed a woman in STEM. We learned more about the various paths to getting in there. So I learned a lot about higher level apprenticeships, and that was really interesting. It gave me a lot of scope for things that I could talk about, which related to the other projects as well, about learning in colleges rather than university, so many different opportunities. So, and another benefit of working with a fellow content creator meant that Johnny was able to capture loads of behind the scenes of me doing the interviews and the content creation, which made for even more content for me. How many times can I say content? All right, let's look at some videos here. So, yeah, this is some of my best bits, just in a little STEM dump. You can see I've had a busy year. Oh, so good though. Yeah, I was in a lot of different places. And doing a lot of different science experiments at home, not necessarily always working completely correctly. Me, high, on the problem, it's me, high, it's going. Oh, there it goes. A mess, chaos in my kitchen, just smoke, eggs, burnt paper, the whole 9 yards. Probably the worst at-home scientist is back again. I meant to leave this for 24 hours. It's been like 2.5 days, but it'll be fine. Right, we've got a squishy egg, but will it bounce? Explained it better. Probably the worst at-home scientist. I really had high hopes that was going to work because I kept it in the vinegar for so long, and no, just an absolute disaster. We've got a squishy egg, so good, but that's science, baby.